What's up guys, it's the Devil's Talon here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at how you can improve your W keying skills by analyzing one of the best current W keyers in the game, and that is NoahReyli. But before I get into this VOD review guys, if you do enjoy my content or find what I'm telling you helpful, please drop a like on this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on post notifications. But without further ado, let's just jump right in. Alright guys, as you can see on the screen we have NoahReyli's POV. I do realize that I have recently VOD reviewed NoahReyli just last week. However, I saw this 28 kill game and was absolutely blown away. I felt like there was a ton of excellent examples of things that can be implemented into gameplay to help those that are looking to improve. So I'm going to VOD review him again because right now he is probably a top 5 player in the world. We're going to take a look. He's actually landing sweaty sand, so incredibly impressive that he is dropping 28 kills from sweaty. We get a quick pistol kill to turn off here. Start off, I should say. Gets the chug splashes on. You're going to see a nice little X8 classic. Gets that back wall. His opponent blocks that shot off. He goes to the side, creates a peanut butter peek and jumps. Finishes that opponent. Now you're going to see what ends up happening here. He gets a crack right here. Look at this movement. Boom, jump acceleration. Let's just take a look at that movement, because movement is probably the most underrated thing in gameplay, or at least Fortnite gameplay, in terms of success. Having excellent movement will bail you out of a lot of scuff situations, which again is a very big part of Fortnite in general. So NoahReyli, he's going to get the cleanup kill on this first opponent that you already saw. He's going to kind of flip this ramp, and this opponent's kind of jump on his head. He does get a nice little crack for like 83, but then check a look at this movement. He crouches and then ducks to the right, and then what I like to call crouch accelerating. He stands up as he basically spams his crouch button and then cracks his opponent in the head. We're going to jump into this next engagement here. Watch it on full speed. He notices his opponent in here. He gets a nice little pre-crack damage. Nice crack resets. And then ducks back to the left side so he has an escape plan in case he does not get the elimination. Now here we're going to talk about this right here. This phase ramp technique is huge in EU. I see all EU pros using it. Excellent cone slide. Kind of like an Inspire Classic. And then movement right there kind of protects him from taking too much damage. He gets cracked. He doesn't opt to go for minis. He knows this opponent is shambles and he ends up winning that fight. He gets a nice little stream sniper right there and gets a free elimination. Now, pre-fight damage cracks. We're going to take a look at this engagement because this is such a good bait. And then he always has an escape plan. So what do I mean an escape plan? Basically a way to make sure he doesn't take a significant amount of damage or doesn't get piece controlled. He always finds ways to get away from his opponents. So this opponent is kind of blindly spamming this top, and so Noah basically pre-fires. Then notice how he has a plan to back up. He has another box to play through, so he just puts this opponent under a ramp. Now he's going to do an excellent bait. So he's going to pretend like he's edited out so his opponent looks to the wall, but instead he's going to edit the ramp and go from this angle, which is also a right-hand peek. Gets a nice crack. Now notice he jumps up. This is his escape plan. He jumps up, and he's going to get the crack on this opponent. And then the opponent can't return fire if he doesn't get that kill because he's going to place the floor. So an escape plan, good angles, and just good baiting just ends that fight incredibly fast. Really great stuff to learn right there. Let's jump in the next engagement. Gets this opponent piece control. Nice, gets him full boxed. An excellent example of a pre-box. He pre-boxes his opponent a significant amount. Gets in. Noah is obviously going to be a low ping player. Gets all that piece control, doesn't get it. But look at what pre-boxing can do. Now the opponent is kind of stuck. He can either sit there. He can't go out that way. He can either go to the right. And eventually Noah being on low ping is going to get that. And then good movement. Let's just take a look at that entire engagement because it is so good. Pre-boxing, establishing piece control, cutting off your opponents. All textbook stuff that pros do. NoahReyli does it at an exceptionally high rate. He gets piece control off to start this fight. He pretty much ends the fight because of his piece control ability. He's building up in salty towers on this opponent. He gets a front wall cone, gets back wall, misses the shot. and then chokes a couple of edits, so the opponent is able to get out. But then he cone. The cone is so important getting it first, because getting the cone first keeps the opponent on that same layer. He's on a right-hand peak. The opponent shoots through the wall. He uses the cone also to try to get some protection, but the opponent is obviously scared because he's had his shield cracked, so he's trying to run and get his heals off. Opponent edits down. Now Noah not taking any chances, getting full piece control throughout to make sure that he doesn't get edited on. He doesn't get this wall here, but notice the opponent is trying to edit out to the side, so he pre-boxes. That was simultaneous with the opponent. The opponent was moving to his left, so Noah pre-boxes to his left. There's a reason why he didn't pre-box to his right. And so now the opponent is stuck. He can really only go to the right or just make an edit play. And so what is Noah going to do? He realizes, oh, I can't go there. Noah, with being a low ping player, is going to take this wall pretty quickly. Takes it. Does a peanut butter peek but misses, and then uses the triple edit, or not a triple edit, a 3-tile edit, but the way it is effective is if you crouch and really hug that wall, and NoahReyli's movement is excellent, as we've already seen in this particular video, and that's why that fight was so clean and flawless for NoahReyli, just the better player. He's now pushing up this opponent, blue tack, gets 80. We see that phase ramp technique again. Gets it into a cone slide. The opponent does get out. Does a good job of pressuring. Misses the shot, but then you're going to see piece control ends that fight really quickly. Love this editor out there. He turns that ramp. What a excellent pre-fire. Escape plan, piece control. Excellent. Let's just take a look at that last engagement. Again, like I said, this video has so many great examples of how you W key efficiently without taking a ton of damage, and how you finish fights quickly. So we'll just take a look at just the piece control at the end right here, because why not, right? So you saw him, he puts this back wall, the opponent just jumps with his builds out, he finishes up with a scar spray. But notice he's kind of in a scuff situation, right? So he gets the wall, and then he gets out to the side. Now this opponent's under the stairs. He realizes, and he pre-fires this. Now, what do I talk about an escape plan, right? He's moving. This opponent is coming at him wildly. So what does he do? He backs up, plays a front wall, gets piece control and the cone. The opponent tries to jump, and you see he hits his head on the top. The opponent places the floor. And so what does Noah do? He gets a crack, and then he makes sure he gets that back wall, right? And now the opponent's boxed. He has nothing he could do. And that's how he gets 2 quick kills without using any of his heals. He gets 2 refreshes if he was shambles, but he's obviously not. And then we're going to just say a nice little headshot snipe. I don't need to play that back for you. It's pretty standard. Going up here, he sees this particular opponent. He has charge. He edits this opponent down smartly. Cracked. And then escape plan, right? Gets back to the right, pre-fires, and lets the opponent spray through the builds, and he just hits tack shots as the opponent does this. Not too much to say there. Not too much to say there. He caught an opponent out, but showing preference for the charge. I think the charge right now is meta along with lever. I think tacks have become a little bit more obsolete with the addition of the lever. But you see a lot of pros just gravitating to charge just because how hard it hits. You're going to see just another masterclass of how NoahReyli's ahead of the game. He's going to bait a bouncer. He baits a bouncer, and the opponent looks the way of the first bouncer. That's so smart. It gets him to look that one particular way. He places another one, catches the opponent off guard. Does the phase ramp technique, gets that front wall cone slide. And then the opponent places a ramp, and he just phased through, standing still, kind of playing with his food. But let's just take a look. Because this is so ahead, so big brain, because usually good players will recognize a bouncer. But what player is going to expect you to bait a bouncer? I would never think to do something like that. But you see how effective it is. This is ahead of the game. So he's going to place a bouncer on this side to get the opponent to look that way. And then he's going to go and bounce the other side. Look where the opponent's looking. He's blocking off where the first bouncer would be. But his back's completely exposed. He's completely lost. He thinks that NoahReyli's going to be there. And then we're going to just talk about a good job of applying pressure. Right here, he's jumping on the wall. The opponent is running away for his life. You're going to see, again, the phase ramp technique. He tries to get the cone there. Opponent does a good job of running away. And then right here, the opponent gets the wall. And then he kind of spams it. Boom. And he's now got the ramp. The opponent is kind of scuffed. He gets that front wall, cone slides, edits through with his blueprints. Opponent edits him down as well. and then places a ramp. He phases. The opponent's looking a little bit lost, kind of like a flopper. But again, probably not that bad of a player. Just NoahReyli looking very, very good. Pushing this opponent with a bouncer. Now, you're going to see this kid is absolutely horrendous. 1, he's boxed up in wood. 2, he's on a super-duper scuff layer. And number 3, he's pretty much just not doing anything. So Noah cone slides him. He's trying to sandtate. He's swinging his pickaxe. He returns a little bit. He's trying to build blueprints when there's a cone in his box. He says he's the best player, which he's not. This is another great example. Creating an escape path. You see Booga even do this, creating that kind of, you put the cone and then phase. Notice placing the cone in the box. Again, another, just getting piece control in people's boxes while they're fully built. This opponent actually is low ping, gets a huge crack, and he does the same thing. He has that we looked at previously. There's a lot of great stuff to go over in this particular engagement. 1, because it's smart, efficient W keying. It's technical. It's very, very, very good to watch and learn from. So you're going to see him jump on this opponent in wood, an indication that probably not the best player. But he blocks off his side where he knows opponents are. He tries to pre-fire. He flips up the ramp, and then he creates piece control to make sure that he has a way to get out in case the opponent tries to cone. He's now on a right-hand peak. Doesn't get it, but he goes, okay, well, you're on elevation, so I'm just going to place a cone in your box because that's something that is OP pretty much. He gets the wall, and it's essentially a 50-50. He goes out to the other side, and now he's playing with 2 wood walls. This guy has low ping. He's held everything thus far. Charge, you also have to respect the charge. If you're playing on offense with the charge, people editing out on you is really crucial. He's on a right-hand peak. He cracks. He resets the wall in front of him, boxes his opponent. He hits the top of his head. Boom. Ends that fight. Again, always having a way to protect himself. And that way he gets piece control on his opponents, on people that overextend. And that's exactly what he does there. We've already seen it in this particular VOD review. Now, let's take an award for the worst player I've ever seen in a VOD review in my time VOD reviewing. This man is standing up spamming an AR at NoahReyli. That's actually incredible. You see the quick mechanics right there trying to get piece control. Doesn't get it right there. He gets the box. Notice how he's scuffed under his ramp. So what does he do? He goes to another wall. Gets a nice peanut butter. Like I said, the 3-tile edit can be bad. Now this was a little bit 50-50, but I think he realized he had low charge ammo and wanted to end the fight fast because of the third party. It's incredible to me how he has 19 kills and no bouncers. Usually you see people with 30 bouncers when they have this type of kills. Beautiful. Oh, the piece control is disgusting. There's 2 tenets. It's basic, but let's just go over it. It's 2 things, right? It's pre-fight damage and solos as he cleans up this elimination. And what else is it? It is going to be piece control. Our good old friend piece control. The holy grail of Fortnite competitive, ending fights fast with piece control if you do it properly and when to go for it, and that's an excellent time to go for it because you cracked him, you don't want him to go off and heal. We've got some good pre-fight damage. You see him fry him off shield with the Scar. Fortunately, no bouncers, so the opponent's probably going to get minis off just because it's just the way it is. He gets that front wall, opponent not really building smartly. He gets that front wall, and then he gets that cone back wall, and the opponent is stuck looking lost like a flopper with his blueprints out. Piece control ends that fight. If he doesn't get that cone, the opponent goes off. It draws out. He wastes more mats, utility, etc. Now, in this particular engagement, you're going to see what the charge can do for you. Breaking down opponents with the charge is so strong because you can crack. He gets the front wall, cone, piece control. Notice you see how many kids are hitting their head on his cone with piece control. That's really a smart thing to do. Let's go into the next engagement. Not too much to say. Good example of piece control and use of the charge. Huge crack. Gets the back wall for piece control. Now this is super duper scuffed. I don't know if he has any pre-fight damage. He must have known that opponent was weak for him to take those type of peeks. But now he's got some bouncers. You see him push an opponent. He bouncers again. Nice little 70 crack. You see him using these power weapons really good this charge. And the last time we saw him use a pistol. Oh, that's so nice. Right? That's advanced piece control is what I like to call it. That is textbook NoahReyli, but it is advanced piece control. You see Miro do this edit a lot as well. But we're just going to talk about it. It's very good to do. Why? It's an Arkham peak, so you're super duper protected when you're going for this wall. It's super open to give you tons of angles. He even gets the cone slide with it. He gets a good crack. And notice how he plays back. I mean, the opponent has no angle. He has zero angle playing that far back in the box on Noah. Noah being basically one tile away makes that peak just so overpowered for him. Now here's an opponent with a dragon shotgun. This is something. He's kind of flexing his edits here. Nice little 39 crack. Playing nice and protected. Chasing him. Notice placing the cone. Tries to pre-box. Opponent bouncers and he goes, okay. The charge is so good for your opponents to respect. And this is so good about the charge. You can literally knock opponents down that overbuild and then crack them for significant amounts of damage. Is exactly what he does there. I've seen a lot of pros gravitating to the charge just because of how hard it hits. I think all shotguns are pretty much viable purple tacks. I think levers are even viable. I think, you know, the better, obviously, rarity of the loot is going to make them viable, but I feel like the shotguns are all really balanced. Nice. He does a good job right there of just kind of cleaning up that kill. Not much to say. Now, this is a little bit interesting. It's kind of a scuffed little peek. He cracks him. Notice how he took more damage in that fight. One, that's a left-hand peek. But I felt like his opponents... I mean, what is a good an indicator of a bad opponent? Boxing up on a scuff flare in arena is usually a sign that opponent is not the most confident fighter. And so is probably not the best. Now, you're going to see this last opponent. This is sometimes you get these type of people in arena that are just sitting in a clock tower and chilling, trying to grind out placement. Now, from my opinion, I just wish he would play it a little bit tighter right here while he's taking bigs and minis out in the open. We don't know if he has a sniper or not. It'd be pretty unfortunate to lose that way to the particular individual who's been hiding the entire time just because the low skills ceiling of snipers. You're going to see the advantage of the charge versus the tack. He gets good piece control and ends the fight. An incredible 28 kill performance from NoahReyli. There was a ton of stuff to go over. One of the best VOD reviews in my personal opinion. There was a lot to unpack in this particular NoahReyli VOD review, but the biggest things that stuck out to me were the constant use of the phase ramp technique, where he's placing it in his opponent's boxes without them basically doing anything. It allows him to establish piece control. And then the next thing that stuck out to me was just excellent movement. You saw good examples of movement throughout. And the final thing was always having an escape plan or always creating a peek that is going to allow him to back off just in case he did not hit his shot or his opponent hit him pretty difficult, which would allow him to get off heels. That particularly did not happen in this VOD review. But what it does is creates a good base understanding of the importance of creating that extra space, that extra escape route to make sure you don't take a ton of damage and lose all of your health and shield, lose a ton of mats. Creating those counter peaks is what basically allowed NoahReyli to flawlessly W key the entire lobby without as much getting his shield cracked. I believe there was only 2 or 3 engagements where he got his shield cracked, and that is about as flawless as it gets from a W keying perspective. But guys, I hope you did enjoy this VOD review. If you did, please drop a like on this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on post notifications. And I hope I'll be seeing you in the next one. Peace.